So I wanted to make this video to just kind of document and explain what I did to take this Golden Axe machine and make it into a MAME arcade machine. So we bought the Golden Axe machine pretty much just as it looks here for I believe $200 from this rich family that had a bunch of arcade machines, and they were selling everything that they had. Well, they were selling pretty much everything that they owned. Getting this thing up the stairs was the worst part. It weighs well over 300 pounds, and we had to use an appliance dolly and take it from the street and bring it up the sidewalk and through the front door, and then bring it down to the base of the stairs, pull it up the base of the stairs, and then right there at that landing there's just enough room for the arcade machine to sit with the dolly. We couldn't spin it. The landing isn't big enough to spin it, so we had to take the dolly out, reseat it on this side. We pulled it up with the dolly on this side of the machine, pulled it out, reseated the dolly on this side of the machine, and then pulled it up, and eventually got it over to here. So that was the hard part. It was very heavy. Even with me, I'm not that very strong, but me and one other strong guy could just barely get it up one stair at a time using a appliance dolly, which is designed to climb stairs. So when we got this, it had the joysticks and the buttons. I've replaced all of them, but it had two different joysticks. They're in pretty dirty condition. They weren't that great. They were two different ones. And then the buttons, there was a button here and these two buttons. You can see that they're marked for Golden Axe. It's jump and magic, and then this one's the attack button. Same thing over here, it just had three buttons, and then these were plain white buttons, and they're pretty dirty. Golden Axe is a conversion kit only. It's how Sega sold it in the mid-90s. So you had to have an arcade machine that was capable of accepting it, and then they just got the kit. You know, the arcade owners just got the kit. So this machine originally was something else. I don't know what it is, but I do know that over here on the side are still these instructions for some sort of a golf game. You see it says press the left button to select the club, press right button for an overhead view, move the joystick right and left to aim your shot, pull it down to start your swing. So it was some sort of a golf game. I have not yet figured out which golf game it is, but if you look at this is just like something that they cut out and then put this plexiglass, it's very thin plexiglass, over it and screwed it in. So this machine may have been even something else before that, and was then converted to a golf machine, and then later converted to Golden Axe. And this is the bezel that goes around the monitor, and if you can see, they cut it here and here. This is traditionally supposed to be on the bottom of the screen, but you can see right here there's nothing really showing. So if they had just put this on the way it was, this would be all covered up. You'd only be able to see this red bar up here. So this is supposed to be at the bottom, and then at the top it's supposed to say, it normally says Sega up here. Well, then you've got your directions on how to play over on this side, and over on this side it has some descriptions of the characters, so you know what kind of magic they use, and has some strategy, kind of gives you a little extra detail. And then this on the control panel here, they this was some sort of a sticker that they applied to it. There's no artwork on the side. They sold artwork. I'd like to get some reproduction artwork. They have some that says Golden Axe really big, and then they have some that's a big axe and another big sword that go on the side of it. But this has no artwork on it. So then what I did when I got this, I took it apart. I took some of it apart. Cleaned the plexiglass that covers the monitor. Took all this control panel apart. Cleaned this plexiglass. Now I wanted to add buttons because I wanted this to be a MAME machine. MAME is an emulator. It's the multiple arcade machine emulator. Basically it allows you to run a lot of old arcade games, and what people do is they take actual arcade boards straight out of the arcade machines, they hook them up to a computer, and then they copy the program off of it, and then they write another program that pretends that it's the hardware, the original hardware that runs that program. And that runs on your computer, and then you feed in the various game programs that people have dumped off of their arcade machines. And then you can play all these, pretty much every arcade machine on a computer. So I wanted to support lots of different games, and having 6 buttons is really optimal. Mostly for Street Fighter. The Street Fighter 2 games support, they use 6 buttons per person, so I really wanted 6 buttons per person to at least support every game up to Street Fighter. And then also I have other emulators on this that run, they emulate a Nintendo, a Super Nintendo, Sega Genesis, and the Super Nintendo and the Sega Genesis each had 6 buttons on their controllers, so this allows me to be able to support those games also. So what I did was I ordered new joysticks and buttons. Now the guy's name is Bob Roberts, and I think the website is like The Real Bob Roberts. You look for that, you'll find his website. He sells pretty much every piece and part for any arcade machine you have. It's really a great resource. This guy has everything, and the prices are pretty low too. So I ordered all these buttons and joysticks from him. Got these are 8-way joysticks, which means that it'll register and support 8 different ways, 8 different directions. I got 6 buttons per person. I got player 1 and player 2 buttons, and then I also ordered a white button on this side and a white button on this side, so that can support, right now I only use them for kind of like control buttons, so to kind of exit out of the emulator, or to pause, or to bring up a like an emulator menu. That's what I use these for. But I could even set it up, if I wanted to at a later date. If I had some sort of pinball program, I could use these for pinball flippers. And then I installed one more up here in the back to start and shut off the computer.